What's up, folks? It's your boy DT 2.0, and today we have a machine that I've been contemplating on getting for a long time. I hesitated and ended up going with the older, more mature sibling, the MSI GS or GE66, but this is the MSI GS66. So I'm calling this the little brother of the MSI GE66 that I reviewed a couple months ago. And I'll tell you, sometimes the second kid is just way more mannered and loving than the older sibling. Man, I'm just bullshitting. I think MSI knew what it was doing when and who it was going after when they made this laptop, and it's no secret that the way it looks, the way it's sleek and slim, and made it that good old cold hard metal, that it was going after a razor blade in this instance. Or even if you're thinking of non-gaming computer terms, even the Microsoft Surface line of products, because it just feels like a block. Right, and I like that, you know, like a MacBook. So y'all know the routine. This is a consumer review, so if you're looking for in-depth technical review with benchmarks and all that, no. This is just what you need for a regular consumer that's non-technical and want a reliable machine that can perform, or looking for a reliable machine that can perform. With that, I'll give you my loves, my likes, my dislikes, and my concerns. And then something I've added at the end, as I've done in my older videos, is my recommendation. So is this GS66, the Stealth, a keeper, or is it going back? Let's find out. So let's go with the quick spec rundown on this. This has a Core i7-10750, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 1 terabyte SSD. Both of those are upgradable and or replaceable, even the killer Wi-Fi card that's in the inside. You know, this is something that concerned me with my Alienware because the Wi-Fi and the RAM are soldered to the board, and a lot of people have qualms with that, but I don't, right? So that's why I choose to keep it, besides the fact that it has that 4K OLED. But we're not going to go into that because I always talk about that shit. But this one is a little bit more easier to fix. They're highly accessible, and just like the Raider, the GE66, just bust it open, swap the shit out, and then go on your merry way. Video card, which is the most important part of this, right? Because it is a gaming computer made by a company that's geared towards gaming. This has the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Max-Q. And I know I talked a whole lot of shit about Max-Q back in the past, but I think when it comes to this particular model, and all models with the 1080p screens, especially with the with the 240 or anything over 120, the 2070 is adequate, right? 2070 Super is adequate in a 4K OLED in the Alienware, but you know, sometimes you want to push it past 60, but that's just the screen technology, right? That's the 4K 60 hertz limitations. But when I do display it on my TV that can go over 60 hertz, it plays just fine, right? After some minor adjustments to the settings. All right, so turning this around, just like the other ones, you got the power jack, and we all know how I feel about the power jack being on the side right next to the vent. We'll talk about that. USB-C, that's also a Thunderbolt, which the GE66 did not have. So I like to see that this one is a little bit different in that respect. HDMI, and then a USB-A port, which is a USB 3.1 on this side, and you can see I got my Alienware mouse dongle in there. We have another USB-C, just a regular headphone mic combo jack, 2 USB-A ports, and then your Ethernet port. In the back, just some damn vents. Just some damn vents. On the bottom, as you can see, there's one big large vent, and then 6 screws or 8 screws to get in there and do what you need to do in order to swap out your internals. So that's it for the spec rundown, right? Real simple, right? This has a lot of the things that other computers have, and you know, I think the thing that draws out the most about this is, and that's why it's called what it's called, the GS66 Stealth, is because the way it looks. Coal black hard steel, the branding on the top, barely visible, right? I think you can see it right there. You can see it in the light a little bit, which gives it that sleek look, which I like. You know, I do like the way this is constructed. And I know my shit look dirty as fuck, but I keep this. I did that on purpose just so I can prove a point. So yes, it does have fingerprints all over the place. My hands are relatively clean because I washed them, but yet the natural oils from my hand are still getting on there. But we'll talk about that later, right? But this also has no RGB elements, as I stated. So it is what it's called. It's the stealth. So how much did I pay for this? Right now, or when I paid $14.99 for this, and it was on sale at Best Buy for $300 off. So I went and snatched it up. You know, it was a no-brainer, right? It was basically nearly the same cost as the G14, the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14 that wasn't on sale. I think it was just $50 more because the G14 when not on sale is $14.49. This one was $14.99 on sale. So why not go snatch this up and see if I can, you know, compare and contrast between the two. This is the holiday time. It's not on sale now, or last I checked. But if I were you and you really like this computer after reading this review or hearing this review or looking at other reviews that's been out, because this thing been out since earlier this year, go ahead and wait it out. Or, you know, this is the time of the year where you have that holiday return period. If you buy it for somebody or yourself for Christmas, you can always keep checking the prices and then go back to Best Buy and get the difference, or do like I did. I usually just go into chat, give them my receipt number, tell them I bought it at the original price, now it's on sale, and then they'll do it, you know, that way, you know, protecting yourself from the virus, and give you the refund via chat. It'll just be a credit to your credit card that you used. Or if you use cash, if you're balling like that, just go in the store and get your cash. So you know how Best Buy does, the prices go back and forth. So it is what it is. You just have to have the wherewithal to keep checking every day if you remember. So with that, on to my loves. Love number one. The one thing that immediately jumped out to me was the screen. Although it's not the brightest, the quality, in my opinion, is just about on par with the GE66. And that's near top notch. Why? I'll tell you one thing, it's near zero backlight bleed. And I know that varies from unit to unit, but I'm like 3 for 3 when it comes to MSI computers, because I bought the GE66 twice, and both times near zero backlight bleed, right? You know, for me, I don't have a studio where I can get things pitch dark, so I take this shit in the bathroom and then turn off all the lights and kind of look at it and see if there's any bleed. And I tell you, it's very, very, very rare. Normally, I see it in the lower right-hand corner, right? And it's very minimal. So that's good, right? Color-wise, it's great. It's just like the GE66. It's great when it's calibrated to your liking, right? And you can go into the Dragon Center and I won't go over the Dragon Center today, but you can go into the Dragon Center and change your settings for colors or whatever. And again, I went over Dragon Center in my last video. I won't do that, which will make this video a lot shorter than that. But anyway, you can go and calibrate it to your liking. You want it more vivid, you want it more saturated, do that. That's the way I like my screen. But if you want it more natural colors, you can do it. You can do it like that. So the screen is really nice. And the thing I like the most, and the thing that I miss the most about it, is right there in that lower left-hand corner, right? The 240 hertz ultra fast gaming display, the same display that's on the GE66. So a lot of the similarities between this and the GE66, you know, are pretty on par. It's like they cut no corners when it came to this. This, in my opinion, is just more well designed than the GE66. You know, if you want that sports car look, if you want that light bar element at the bottom, GE66 and about $800 more is for you. But if you want to save some money, not have that 2070 Super, just deal with the Max Q version, but get pretty much the same performance because you're only pushing a 1080p screen, why not get the GE66, especially when it's on sale? So the screen is definitely one of my major loves. And I matched this up to the G14's 120 hertz of speed, which I thought was buttery smooth, but goddamn, this is whipped cream smooth. Jeez, whipped cream smooth. That's all I have to say about the screen. My number one love. Love number two, and that's the build quality, right? It's very low key. It's all black. You know, it doesn't say gamer except when these keys are lit up. And I got these keys lit up like this on purpose. You can change it to whatever you want. As you can see, they're individually lit. You know, so if you want to just have it looking all white or whatever, just to make it look like a normal ass laptop, go right ahead. But when you're in front of your gamer friends, you can have it looking like Christmas. That's what's cool about this machine. You know, they don't have a big blasting ass logo at the front like on the GE66. It's very low key, you know, and it's very tasteful. I think if you're not trying to draw any attention, it's very tasteful. Other than that, you know, it's I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. You know, it's the build quality. Like I said, it's like a fucking tank, right? It's not very heavy, but got some weight to it, you know, and you can tell, unlike the HP Omen that I reviewed, if you drop this, it's not gonna crack in pieces. You know, it might dent a little bit, but it ain't gonna crack in pieces. Are there some plastic elements on here? And as you can see, there's a little plastic right here that you get worried about. Yeah, there is, but I think they did that because, you know, to protect the lid, right? You don't want metal clapping against metal, so that kind of protects it, you know. But, you know, it's very, very solid, and I like that. So, build quality, love number 2. Love number 3. So, I've played on this thing, you know, my same usual games. I even updated it to a certain degree, or updated a few of my games to a certain degree. And I think overall it runs relatively cool. You know, I haven't pushed it to its limits, but from what I've seen, you know, it ran cool, just like the maybe a little bit warmer than the GE66, and that's you know, attributed to the design here. It's not as spacious in the inside, so the fans are probably smaller, and there's not much space in between the components in there where it'll run a little warm, but by no means did it get overheated where anything crashed at all. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing about this this computer, that, you know, you can push it to its limits, but it's only a 1080p screen, so how far can you push it? Now, if you're hooking it up to a, you know, a bigger TV like the 4K OLED I have, it's old ass 4K. I'm not trying to brag. It's the old ass 4K OLED I bought about 3 years ago on sale, you know, but it works just fine, right? It'll work just fine. It'll push those pixels, but don't be expecting to push 4K. It'll do 1440p just fine. So I may make a video hooking this computer up to the 4K, since I don't have 4K on this screen, in opposite of what I did with the Alienware 4K OLED, where I hooked it up to a 4K screen and then ran it at 1080p and 1440p at a higher frame rate. So definitely runs cooler than the GE66, but just a little bit. So another love in the tank. And my final love here, and I'll combine this with one other thing, is what you've seen earlier when I opened up the computer. This is the first one I've had in here that have actually used Windows Hello, and I love that shit, right? Yeah, is it secure or as secure as like the iPhone feature or a fingerprint reader? No, it's not. And you can use it you can use it if you want, but if you trust everybody in your household to not use a picture of you to get in your computer, Windows Hello, as soon as you open this mug up and it sees your face, it's fairly quick. You know, it's fairly quick. And I'll try to give you an example here. Yeah, go ahead, turn yourself back on. Good. Come on. All right, boom. Sees my face behind my camera, right? And I got so used to that, I started doing that shit with the Alienware, and got disappointed when I had to actually type in my motherfucking password and shit, or my passcode and shit. So this spoiled me a little bit with the Windows Hello, because, you know, as soon as I open it up, it's already ready to go. It takes like no time. So that's the thing I like about this, that you know, one, they made it completely different, not completely different, but in design completely different, and then than the GE66, and then they added some extra elements on top of it, like Windows Hello, you know, and the Thunderbolt port, right? And then of course the design, while only cutting a few corners, you know, by cutting the corner on the graphics chip and a little bit on the RAM, which is cheap, you can find it, and then also the oh, that's it. Oh, and the CPU. So anyway, you know, definite love the fact that this has Windows Hello. Not a gaming element of this computer, but just something that's less stressful for you when you just want to get in here and get some work done. So my final love right there, Windows Hello. So my first like, and this is going to just emulate what I've said about the GE66, because it's the same. It's the keyboard, right? The keyboard's not mushy, and it's not the worst keyboard I've had in here. It's no secret that I really enjoyed the Alienware M15's keyboard, probably better than any other keyboard out there. But this feels the same as the GE66. It doesn't have that much resistance or a little bit of key travel, but not much resistance. I like to feel a little bit of give back when I'm typing on my keys. You know, what I still didn't like, but from using this in the GE66 for so long, is the small ass shift key, right? They look the same size, but if you really look at them, they're not. So you got to get used to that, right? But same complaint here, right? Same complaint, the damn shift key. You know, I get what they were doing by putting the function on the opposite side of the keyboard. That way you can easily adjust the brightness and the volume, right? With one hand. I get it. Kudos for that. But at the same time, now I have to, you know, change the way I type when I'm using just this computer, because when I go back to any other laptop, you know, it's different. So I'm not gonna bitch about it too much, but y'all don't know how I feel about that. The keyboard lighting, yeah, it looks a little faded right now because I have a lot of natural light in here, but I'm telling you, when it's dark, it looks great. It looks great. Still not a fan of this power key that feels like one of the boards. It has pretty much the same resistance as the other keys, so you can make a mistake and press it and put it into sleep mode while you're doing some shit if you're trying to hit the delete button fast. But, you know, again, with some practice and some use, you know, over time, you'll get used to it. So keyboard is alike because, again, it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. Touchpad, on the flip side, is fucking great, right? I put this on par. This is better than the Alienware M15's touchpad. You know, it feels really smooth, and going along with that 240 hertz whipped cream smooth screen, even though I don't use the touchpad that much, I don't mind using this touchpad, you know, when I'm using this computer. I like the way it clicks, you know, I like the way it feels, right? I'm scrolling with the screen, barely any hiccups. You know, it's responsive. I mean, come on. I mean, you know, shout out to somebody that like my shit. You know, I really, we gonna do this? Oh, no, we're not. So let me go ahead and use these shortcuts here to turn on the volume. But anyway, you know, I really like the way the touchpad feels. You will not be disappointed by this touchpad. My number one like. My number two like is the Dragon Center. All right, shout out to EE66 who just subscribed, and Brian Smith. Shout out to y'all. The Dragon Center, right? Again, I'm not gonna go through this in depth, but it's extremely informative, especially on the monitor, right? In this instance, as you can see, I'm running it unplugged with no games. Fan is running. Only one fan is running. It tells you the RPMs. It tells you, you know, how much hard drive space you have left, how much Wi-Fi you're using, LAN if it's connected, and then the power plan. I have it on silent right now, but right now it says balanced, and that's just to keep the fan noise around. Current temperature 55 degrees Celsius, right? And then it'll tell you the clock speeds of the GPU if it's being used, right? True color, change the color of your screen, or the color profile of your screen. And then there's some other shit, it's, you know, some spam type shit, gaming highlights, ambient link, and then noise cancellation. Those are other things that I will not necessarily use. Gaming mode, you can come in here and add a game so it can change modes depending on what games you can play. I'm not gonna go into this real in depth because I did that last time and made my video go long as fuck. So we're gonna keep this at a minimum when talking about the Dragon Center, right? But it's just the fact that, you know, that it's very informative and it's easy to make adjustments, especially when the video card is in use and to change modes. It is very straightforward once you play with it a little bit, right? And the thing I do like about this is you can do a complete you know, GPU switch, where you can do a hybrid graphics mode, or you can tell this motherfucker to, hey, just use the graphics card. Do what you're supposed to do by using the graphics card that's in here. So I really like that about just MSI computers in general, because I think all of them do that, right? At least the ones I've had here in my studio. But Dragon Center is my final like. I've already talked about my number one dislike about this, and that's just the shift key and then the power button, right? It just feels like, again, one of the guys. It's not separated. I thought they had ample space to put it here, you know, but it is what it is. You know, I'm not gonna bitch and complain too much about this because, again, I got used to using this keyboard, but as a gamer who used WASD and the mouse, you may not, right? You may have to get an external keyboard like my son did on his weak ass HP Omen 15-inch computer to, you know, to have that feel and feel confident while you're playing your shooters and running around getting murked all day. You know, other than that, you know, I only put it in the like and the dislike category because you have to have some drawbacks. Luckily, I'm used to it, but you know, for anybody else that have not used this computer, you may not like it, and it may be a deal breaker, right? Because if you're using this for anything else outside of gaming, that shift key may kill you, right? You've got big ass hands, that shift key may kill you, right? Or you may be working on something and you haven't saved it yet, and you make a mistake and hit that power button to put this motherfucker to sleep or turn it off, you know, depending on how long you hold it. Yeah, that may be a deal breaker. You know, so just keep that in mind when you get this computer, that the keyboard is great, but it's not that great. So it can be a like and a dislike at the same time. It's like warm temperature, you know. Other than that, that's it. Dislike number 2, and you've seen it throughout this video. This motherfucker is a fingerprint magnet. You will be constantly wiping this thing off. Look at that. Look at that. Look like I've been eating Popeyes while I've been handling this, and I have not. I've done nothing but, you know, drink coffee this morning. But look at this shit, right? I mean, would you take this thing out in public and have this open at like Starbucks, typing away, and they're like, oh, look at this nasty motherfucker right here. You know, I wonder how his house looks since his computer looks like that. So you make sure you clean it up before you take it out in public. You know, but it's the product of the material used. So, you know, it's just a drawback. You know, it is what it is, right? You like the material, but you already know that it's going to show dirt. It's going to show dust. You probably saw some dust on here too, and you constantly have to do that. Constantly keep a Swiffer duster handy, right? It's like buying a black car, right? You know you got to keep that motherfucker clean, vice when you drive a white car, because I can tell you right now, the Alienware shows just as many fingerprints, but you really have to turn it towards the light to see it. But it shows the same fingerprints. So keep that in mind, that, you know, you're going to have to keep this thing clean. Extremely clean if you have your OCD, if your OCD is kicking in about cleanliness of your stuff. If you don't give a fuck, then buy the shit and you'll be happy. And my final dislike, which is the same as the GS66, are these weak ass speakers. I don't know why they call it Dyne Audio or whatever. Yes, it works well when using some good headphones. So the converters in here does a good job in relating the sound to your headphones. But other than that, geez, do not try to play a game with these things on speaker in public. Just don't do it. They fucking suck. And I said that in the GE66 video. GS66 is no different. It's the exact same audio, but in the same in a smaller package. That's all. You know, don't even do it. It's tinny and probably the worst in any laptop I've had. I'm not a gaming laptop. I'm just talking gaming laptop that I've had. You know, again, the sound quality is great when you have headphones on, but if you don't have none, don't depend on these speakers to do shit for you, because they won't. So just play your game on mute. That's your thing. It's my final dislike. Now my concerns, right? I could say, like in the other videos, I could say reliability or customer service, but I haven't had this laptop or any MSI laptop long enough to comment on that. And when I say long enough, I meant like over a year in constant use. These things come in and out to me on a regular basis. So hopefully those that have a history with MSI, y'all can hit each other in the comments and talk amongst yourselves or go to Reddit like I do and talk about the reliability of MSI computers in general. What I do know is that they do offer, when you buy these, especially this time of year, they do automatically offer you 3 extra months of the 1-year warranty. And then if you feel insecure about it, you can always buy the warranty through Square Trade or buy directly through Best Buy, to calm your nerves when it comes down to reliability. I don't know how good Geek Squad is when it comes to that, but I'm not saying go get it. That's just my recommendation. When I got it, I did get it, but that's just in case I waste something on this motherfucker while doing a review and I won't have a complete loss of money. Will I keep it? We didn't get to that part yet, So MSI is not as big as Dell, and I'm pointing to the the M15. So you can't just call them up or at any time of the night and get a response or jump in the chat. You may, but I don't think they'll come up as fast as Dell. I've tried it in the past and they did respond, right? And then if not, you can always hit them up on Twitter like I do when I get pissed off, But Other than that, that's my only concern, right? How long will this thing last? I'll tell you, it's built like a tank, and I really, really like the way it feels. It's a fucking fingerprint magnet, but that's just one drawback, and I'll just keep a damp cloth on me to clean them shits off when I go out in public. But when I'm in the house, it's open and closing all day, and I'll clean it as just as much as I clean the house, when I want it to look nice or when I have company coming over, which is never. I don't like nobody in my shit. Anyway, overall, I'm really satisfied with this laptop. The performance is great. It's sleek and slim. It does not look like a gaming computer, and if that's what you're aiming for, right? It runs relatively cool. It's upgradable, and the screen is one of the best I've seen quality-wise. But again, that's gonna vary, especially with the backlight bleed. That's gonna vary from unit to unit. So my unit is good. My unit. So do I recommend it? Absolutely, right? This is a definite keeper. At regular price, it's a little high, so I wait for the sale. And if you're in a rush to get this for somebody for Christmas or for their birthday, get it now and then wait it out. Wait out to 30 days, or I think January 16th. So you got about a month to return this, or go back and say, hey, I want the difference because now it's on sale. So would I recommend this over the GE66? It just depends on how much horsepower you need. Do you need that 2070 Super? Do you need that 32 gigabytes of RAM? Automatically installed, right? If you don't, do you need to be sleek and slim? Do you need it to be, portable? Do you need it to not have too many gaming elements? That's up to you, right? But I would say performance-wise, in the games that I've played, they're about the same, right? They're about the same. One just runs a little bit warmer than the other one, but none of these are crapping out because I've pushed it to the limit, right? But then again, I don't play games for 8 hours, 12 hours a day, Some of us got jobs. No hit on the gamers, right, at all, because I wish I could play games 8 hours a day. I'm just jealous and hating. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I'll probably put some performance stuff in here just to show how it performs under a load, and then some benchmarks. And then you guys make a decision on whether you like this computer or not. This DT 2.0. Thanks for watching. Peace.